Where in the heck is the cloud? Everybody used to ask this question when the cloud was the question. Where is the cloud and where does the cloud live? We just knew that data lived in the cloud. Well, welcome to 2024, where AI is now playing a huge role in our space. Today, I have the privilege of having Utku on with us, who is with Buck AI. Utku, how are you doing, man?
Thank you very much, Chris. Appreciate being here.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Well, we are working very hard to bring AI to the trades and making the trades and the contractors AI smart, so to speak. So we are working on a bunch of new projects, which is like very exciting. We are very excited about the future.
Awesome. And I know I go back to the days of I was fortunate enough to be in a working session with some people that have been around for a while, and they said they remembered when the microchip got invented. And everybody was so afraid that the microchip, this is the entrance to robots. This is segue to, technology taking over our world. And I think that there is a lot of fear around AI and
Yeah.
what it is and what it's capable of doing. And I look at it like a tool, right? It's just a
Yeah,
tool. It's how do we use the tool? So maybe
exactly.
tell me a little bit before we jump into AI. Tell me a little bit about Buck AI and what you guys do. And then I want to have a conversation about AI for those that aren't in tune.
Of course. So Buck AI is an ecosystem of artificial intelligence applications geared for home services to make the companies more efficient and more profitable and more customer centric. What we do in the long run is to optimize the operations and trying to maximize the revenue and minimizing the mileage, as well as making sure that all the customers are like served and no leads are falling into the cracks and stuff like that, so that we can ensure that the company, our client, becomes the best version of itself. That's
Hmm.
essentially what we do.
Interesting. I heard somebody say it like this. AI will only allow human beings to do what human beings are good at being, which is interacting with other human beings and thinking.
Interesting.
So
That-
AI is really taking the place of things that humans no longer need to do, and technology will do that for it. Is that kind of a fair assumption around AI?
well, yes, and also there is also that's also unfair to be scared about the innovation and the upcoming wave of AI and everything like that. Hey, let me tell you one thing. When I was a kid, there was this animation on the TV which was called Jetsons, and people were like, you remember that, right? I mean, people were like, unfolding a briefcase, and it became a car, and then they hopped on it, and then they were able to fly with it, right? And what year was that? It was like 2010. What did you have in 2010? An iPhone. Okay, so it's not gonna be that fast or that like neck neck breaking speed or something like that. That's number one. It's gonna come gradually, although it will be way faster than we anticipate. So that's one thing. The other thing is about AI. AI is the biggest, possibly the biggest invention since the invention of internet. It has been some years in the making, but right now we are entering to a different stage of using using AI as a tool. And AI is a different tool than the others, because in all the other tools, for example, the cloud that you were mentioning about in the beginning, it was the human as was it was human as the operator of the tool. Right now, we are literally talking about a collaboration between the machines and the human beings. And why so? Because if you think about a home service company setting, home service company environments, there are like core crucial activities like booking calls, dispatching jobs, obviously going over to jobs and performing the repair or installation and whatsoever, and then pricing the service and then generating the invoice and so on and so forth. If you think about all of these tasks, 80% of what's really happening in a home service company environment on a daily basis are comprised of repetitive and mundane tasks that are today handled by humans. At the same time, you should also think about what is the biggest advantage of being human. The biggest advantage of being human, to your point, is, well, being able to interact with other human beings in an empathetic and, conversational way. That's number one. And number two, something that computers cannot do or won't be able to do for a very long time, which is creative thinking, creative problem solving. Now, we were using this resource for handling mundane, repetitive tasks because we didn't have any better resource to do it. Now we do. So
Mm.
what happens is the mundane and repetitive and low priority stuff will be handled by AI, and high priority, non-repetitive, critical, mission critical, crucial stuff that requires creative problem solving will be handled by humans. So we are going into an era where we are going to be actually collaborating with computers to get stuff done faster, more efficient, and hopefully better serving to the whole community.
Somebody once said, that's a great explanation.
Thank
As I think about that, somebody told me that one thing that AI will never do is to be able to replace smart human beings that are telling AI what to do. Like it's got to be programmed, it's got to be told what to do. So I liken it to this will, I never went through this, but it likens to me of a story of how people used to use an abacus to add and subtract and create math answers to equations.
you.
And then along came the calculator.
Yeah,
And the
exactly.
calculator now, not even today, I almost feel like the calculator is an obsolete tool that back in the 70s and 80s was a normal desk tool.
Yeah.
In fact, in 2008, I had a calculator at my desk. I got a phone now. I got a computer now. So I feel like AI is one of those where it's going to continue to evolve. And for those that embrace it, it's going to be very powerful. Why don't you do me a favor and tell me how you believe AI is going to impact the home service industry?
Well, as I said, the home services will be quite fondly impacted by AI. I mean, maybe I should take this back. Every major industry that we know of will be re-engineered in terms of task handling in the next 24 to 36 months.
Hmm.
Every major industry, not just home services, not, or any other industry that we are talking about. This is a major way. This is why I'm saying that this is the biggest invention since the invention of internet. So home services will be impacted like this. Number one, you won't have to think about who is the best technician for any job so that you should be assigning him. You won't have to think about missing leads or missing opportunities. You won't have to think about, oh, how should I be optimizing my dispatch board for tomorrow so I can be the best version of myself as the leader of the company, and so on and so forth. Or you won't have to think about, if I go like this, what's that gonna look like for me as a business in 3 months? What am I gonna be doing? How well I'm gonna be performing? How much profitable will be my company, and so on. You won't have to think about those things. Those answers will be provided to you. So as a leader, you can act upon them.
Hmm.
That's what's gonna change.
Okay, so then if as a service business operator today, owner and operator, what do I need to do to get my operations ready for AI?
The first thing that I would say is having, like, cleaning up the data, because that's the most important thing. If you want some customized, uh, like even to the extent of personalized solution about AI, the first starting point is always the data. If the data is messed up, which unfortunately it is for many, many, many companies out there, then the outcome won't be, shall I say, optimal, right? So the first thing that you should be doing is making sense of data. And making sense of data means, in our world, in AI world, is like this. Do you have the right set of job types? Do you have the right set of business units? Are your technicians accurately clustered in the teams and the business units, and so on and so forth? Are your job descriptions accurate? If not, please make some effort to make them accurate, because that's what you are going to be using uh, when you are going to be starting up with AI for your company. It's going to look at that data and it's going to make sense of it, and then it's going to come back with some conclusions and predictions. That's essentially what's going to be happening.
Mm.
And so the first thing is to get started with data. The second thing is look at the AI solutions out there. There are like many AI solutions, starting from curb to curb communications to dispatch optimization, to even like fleet management and so on, and trying to figure out which part of the operation you are bleeding the most, right? In terms of like the efficiency and so on and so forth. Like which part of the operation has needs improvement the most. Maybe it's like fleet management, maybe it's route optimization, maybe you are spending too much time driving versus being with the customers. Maybe it's like dispatch optimization. Your dispatch team is not optimal at assigning best technicians to the highest paying jobs and so on and so forth. So all of that stuff, so you need to really figure out, and you need to basically you know start consuming AI by bit by bit or byte by byte. You know what I mean? So basically, it's like it's not going to be like, oh, we are going to be implementing the entire suite of AI applications all at once. It's not going to work like that. It didn't work like that for cloud. It didn't work like that for software, and it won't be working like that for AI as well. So prioritizing and cleaning up your data is the first starting points for that.
Perfect. Thank you for that. And for those that are having an opportunity to watch this, I would like to say to you that there's there are the people that stood in line for 24 hours and camped out in line to get the very first iPhone.
Yeah.
And yet today we're on version, I don't know, 15 or something like that. So early adopters in AI are going to kind of be the front runners. And so I heard somebody say this though, that if we wrote a book about how AI works, by the time we were done writing it, it would change already. That's how rapidly the technology is changing as it relates to what it's capable of doing. They're finding more and more. I was just at an event and a machine shop. They this company actually makes the machine that carries the spaceships out to the landing pad.
Mm-hmm.
Because like my company makes that machine and we machine that thing. And so we have to do all the parts. He said, my programmers no longer make those parts. AI makes those parts for us.
I agree. And
And,
that's
and,
exactly
and
what's
to your point, mundane task, right? Mundane task. So for
happening.
those that are in the middle of the bell curve, will experience, and then there'll be those that are late adopters as well. But here's what I will say, it's not going to stop, right?
Oh,
In your perspective, this is going to be one of just like the internet. It will evolve and they'll have to put restrictions and guidelines on it, but it's not something we should fear, is it?
oh, no, 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 definitely not.
Okay.
I'm it's gonna be drastically changing how we conduct our businesses on a day-to-day basis. That's
Mhm.
that's that's a given right now. But that's, if you think about it, that's essentially what technology does. When internet came along, I mean, web pages were like exceptional. Like, and can you name a company right now that you know who doesn't have a web page? You can't, because everyone has a web page. Like, it's one of the starting points when you are, building a business.
Mhm.
So that is kind of the same thing. You're going to be having AI, and there will be always like late comers to the party and so on. And it's understandable. And the dynamic that is going to be changing this is being outcompeted in your market, because because the companies that you're going to be seeing, who is like the early adopters or early customers, early users of AI, will have much leaner, much efficient, and much way more profitable operations, so
Mhm.
that they will have more money to spend on marketing and to grow the business, that they can throw out to a bunch of inlets of such as Google Ads and so on and so forth. So you're going to see they predict better. So they predict the trends. They price better, so they can dynamically change their pricing to be more effective in that front as well. As they are marketing better. They know to which ads the market reacts to seasonally, and then adapt their operation around that, and so on and so forth.
Mhm.
I'm literally talking about An end-to-end automation of information flow, which needs humans for the creative side of the problem and not the mundane side of it. And the latecomers to the party will be drastically affected by it because they will be more expensive, inefficient, and obviously less profitable. So they end up with less money to grow the business. So
Mm,
there you go.
perfect. Well, we've talked a lot about technology. Tell me a little bit about Buck AI and what they can do to help contractors.
So today we are helping contractors in a bunch of with a bunch of AI applications aiming different parts of the businesses. We have the first large language model or AI model, as we call it, for booking calls directly into the dispatch board without any human intervention. That's a first in the industry because the other alternatives are just, you know, creating placeholders, shall I say. But we are the first one to go from hello to I just assigned a technician to your job point without any human intervention. That's number one. And that's a major lead magnet, if I may, because that works on text, that works on web chat, that works on Yelp messages and anything like that that you can imagine. That's number one. Number two, we are providing call center optimization to make CSRs more efficient. Now, what I mean by that is a typical CSRs, according to our job data, spans between like 4.5 and to like 7 minutes for booking a call on average. Okay, we have proved with our client base that time can be 30 to 40% shorter with the same customer satisfaction, which means you can double the calls, almost double the calls coming into your call center without hiring a new CSR. So that's what
Mm,
we are. And the
wow.
yeah, and the third thing is we are doing dispatch optimization. As a result of all this lead magnet intake, AI and human inputs into the dispatch board, we take the whole dispatch board and under 30 seconds we do this. We create 5,000 different dispatch boards according to your policies or rules, and we compare them against each other in terms of potential revenue and mileage and bring out the best one under 30 seconds, which means you are being the best version of yourself operationally for tomorrow, and you can be sure of that. We are literally taking emotional side of dispatch assignment or decision making or favoritism off the table, literally.
Mm, wow. That's powerful.
Thank you.
So, as you're watching this recording, I want you to let this sink in for a minute. Improving your business may start by exploring technology if it's not already in your business. For those that have already explored, you may realize the challenges that it brings and the opportunities it brings, along with the wins that it brings as well. So, for those that are out there, you're wondering, does technology make sense for our business? I'm going to ask you this simple question. Are you still operating off a dispatch board that's a big whiteboard on a wall that you move trucks around all over town? If not, you're probably already using some form of technology. This is an opportunity with Utku and his team to up-level the technology that you're already using in your business. For more information, you're going to have contact information that we're sending you along with this video of how you can use them. Now, don't forget, as a blue collar member, they are part of our Blue Collar Elite Buy program, of which Janet is our manager. And so Janet has done a great job of creating some special privileges around the partnership with Buckeye or Buck AI that you guys can tap into. You want to know more? Make sure you're logged into the vault. And as you're logged into the vault, you're going to find the contact information, all the details around the special things that they're doing for us through this partnership. I'm so glad that you joined us today. I know before we hopped in and went live, you said, "Hey, Chris, how long do you want me to talk?" Because I could talk for days about technology.
I
I
get
could see the passion oozing out of you as you were talking here today. So, if they want to connect with you, is that okay? Would they be able to connect with you and your team? Have questions for you?
course. I mean, I believe in your vault, they have my contact information as
Yeah,
well as team's contact information. So
definitely.
they can feel free to reach out to any one of us and we'll be there.
Perfect. Super excited, man. This was fantastic. It was fun. Something that I didn't know a lot about. So I got educated here while I was sitting here. Thank you for sharing your time with us and with our audience today. I've got a couple of quick questions for you before we go. First question is, if you could travel anywhere in the world, what would be your favorite destination to visit?
Um, it would be Paris.
Paris.
I
Okay, you
love that
guys heard
city.
that. Paris. I'm going to ask you crazy. I'm going to throw you a curveball on this one. Who's your favorite musician?
Well, nowadays it's Chris Stapleton.
Okay, y'all heard that. Chris Stapleton. All right,
Yeah,
he's a Kentucky boy. For those of you guys that didn't know, he's from the mountains of Kentucky. Chris
yeah.
Stapleton. And then last question for you. This
Mhm.
is a debate that probably will never end. Would you consider a flip-flop a shoe? Yes or no, and why?
Well, no. because because technically, I mean, there are a lot of like people who are literally in my country. I'm from Turkey, Istanbul, Turkey. So there are a lot of people who are spending their daily lives in flip flops, and it is never considered a shoe. Like never, never, never. So basically, it's a slipper at best case. Best
Ah,
case.
you heard it right here. Uncle said flip-flops are not shoes. They're a close running to be a slipper, if anything at all.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for joining in with us. Once again, thank you for tuning in, watching this video. We're super grateful. For more information about who we are, about who Buck AI is, please check out the information in the email. We'll look forward to seeing you guys again. Y'all take care.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, thank you for watching this video. I hope that you found it very, very informative and educational to be able to help you build and grow your business, or to be able to make yourself a better operator, service tech, call taker, and whatever the information that you want to become better at. Remember, I want you to do us a huge favor. Follow us on social media for more information just like this. And thank you for watching the video and subscribing. Remember, you're either winning or you're learning.